If you're ready to take back control of your health, you are in the right place. Welcome to Awaken Wellness with me, Tanya Candy, registered nurse and health coach. Now, I'm not your typical nurse. I consider myself divorced from traditional healthcare. I broke free of the sick care system in 2019 when I realized that the root cause to my sickness, my autoimmune disease, and my chronic pain was me. If you're ready for truth, for clarity, for honesty in a tough, love, compassionate way, I'm the coach for you. Join me while we dig into our root causes of sickness and disease. Hey, welcome in. It is Nurse Tanya from Awaken Wellness here at our Wednesday lunch and learn office hours. So wherever you're tuning in from, I'm so happy that you're here. You can like and share out this video so we can get a little bit more activity. That would be awesome. I need to look at my notes and what were we planning on talking about? Do you remember if you're watching me somewhere? What were we talking about today? So one, always want to be aware of where we're at a month. So the full moon is coming up. It is the full moon is actually the biblical Passover this month. So part of me feels a little bit guilty for having my meeting on Passover on the holiday. But I want to stay consistent. So I've been trying to build my meetings. It's a community meeting that is absolutely free, just educational, where we just kind of get together and we talk about nature. We talk about nature's herbs. Those meetings, they are called Created to Heal meetings. They are inspired from my friend Jaciel, who is on a mission to teach people again how God's herbs heal, how natural remedies heal. So that my meeting is going to be this Saturday at the store in the basement at 6:30. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what we're going to talk about. I did start a couple of tinctures, but they're not done. I'm not ready to pour them off. I often use that apothecary book that you see all over social media. So we'll come up with something. I'm not totally sure. One of these months, so these meetings are just in a growing process, right? But when we get more people showing up, I think it would be super fun to have a bring your own gadgets like exchange. Like, you know how it is, we all buy these gadgets that we use for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then they end up in the closet and you don't use them anymore. So I think it would be really fun to have a gadget exchange, right? I do in my practice rent some of my higher price gadgets out to my clients, so at least they can see if it's going to be beneficial, if they're going to use it before they make that decision to purchase. So that's fun, right? And even some of these older gadgets that were in our closet, that they're not new and trending, but they might be new to somebody else at the meeting. Iodine spray, that would be easy to make, Renee. I have bottles. I bought some glass nasal spray bottles off of Amazon, so that's actually on my list of things to do. That would be a good one. I had found a recipe for a bone broth that's got all sorts of like calendula and medicinal mushrooms and a lot of fun things. So I haven't taken the time at home. I was going to pre-make it to see if it was worth it or not, but um, I'll come up with something by Saturday. Last month, we really talked about GLP-1s. I did a little bit more formal presentation, and I did like that. I live streamed it, and I had a pretty good turnout. So that's always a good topic. And lately, I've really been posting a lot, and I'll be talking about that today too, is a test that I'm doing, Designs for Health, called it's genomics. So I might talk about that as well. So that's kind of my theme for this month. It's detox is the theme. So I would say the class will be, detoxy. Spring and fall is a great time to really go in and go deeper with a liver cleanse. If you follow me, you know I hate the word detox because it can mean something different to everybody. I want myself to basically live a detox lifestyle, right? And I've been doing detox work for years, but I need to go deeper. If we had any idea the toxins that we are exposed to. So I'll just throw this out here. You I encourage everybody to do a total tox burden test. And if that is something that you don't have to be my client, I make it accessible for anybody. If you go to my website, it is awakenwellnessllc.com, and you go under test kits, and all the way to the bottom it's vibrant wellness. And vibrant wellness, and I just do the total tox burden right out of the gate. You do environmental like herbicides, Roundup, plastics, stuff like that. And then you also do heavy metals, and you do mycotoxins. So I think that's good for anybody to do. Now, sometimes people might say, well, don't you have to, kind of like push the toxins before you test? The heavy metals, it's true. If you haven't been actively trying to pull them out of your organs or out of your tissues, they might look worse after you detox because you're just mobilizing them. So we do a tox burden test, and then 4 to 6 months or so, depending on how hard or how deep you're detoxing, we like to check our work. We like to retest. And yes, that's what I'm warning you about, is on that first test, your heavy metals might be clean. It might not really show anything. That doesn't mean they're not there. That just means they're still trapped in your organs and they're still trapped in your tissues. So that's a work in progress, right? But it's great to know. It's great to have that foundation, so you know your product work. If you follow me, you know that I'm going to talk about Cellcore if I'm talking about detox. Cellcore Biosciences is, as far as I'm concerned, the best in detox and parasite cleanse. A lot of other products, a lot of things out there that you can use, but for me, for my clients, I've noticed we get the best results with Cellcore. Sometimes for kids or for fine tuning, we use other tools, but pretty much everybody I want to see do a foundational 120-day detox before we decide what to do next. So I know, right? It's like, it just scares me when everybody on social media is selling a parasite cleanse, everybody's selling a detox thing, and it's just not enough. And sometimes those little detox dabbles, they make things worse because your liver has to get everything from fat soluble to water soluble to bound and out of the body. And sometimes those little kits, they just get you stuck in two, in step two of detoxification, and you get more backed up, you get worse. So if you have done a detox in the past and you've done it alone, and you feel worse or you made your body worse, please get a hold of me or somebody like me, and get some professional guidance, get some professional products going through this. Like, there is a difference. I appreciate the DIY, the make your own, dabble in your own. I appreciate it. I do. And sometimes budget wise, that's all a person can do. But if you're struggling, it's time for a coach. It's time for help. It's time for help for someone like me. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I'm going to check for comments, see if what's going on wherever you're out at. Shout out. Let me know you're here. Let me see you in the comments. All right, perfect. All right, I'm just gonna keep talking to myself here. Um, what else was on my list? Detox, of course, we started on that. If you're interested in a semi-guided detox where I have a little module, a little education that will help you go through 30 days. You can find that on my website under I was just rearranging things. Let me look so I make sure. It is under challenges. And then you're going to I lied. I don't have that on there. I need to fix that. So I will fix it. I'll put that 30-day challenge. If you're going to look right now, you can go under the membership login and under education vaults. So you're going to have to log in, and it is a 30-day liver cleanse, and it is $1 a day, so it's $30. It's going to give you some education, maybe more education than you're really interested in about your liver. There's also going to be a food plan, so for each week you're going to do a little bit different. That first week you're going to do no meat, and a very specific eating. And then you're going to, the next week, you can add in fish. And the next week, you can add in different things. So that's going to walk you through that. And then there's also going to be an opportunity to buy a detoxification packet kit from Designs for Health. Now, this is my favorite detox pack ever. What I like about it is it's got 3 different supplements, and they combine it in a little easy to use pillow pack. So twice a day, it's got like a liver gallbladder support that is got your ox bile and your milk thistle and all those good things. That is a perfect supplement if you know your gallbladder is kind of on its last leg, or if you're missing your gallbladder. That is something you should be taking. You should be taking something with that ox bile in it, with the artichoke, with those bitters to help you digest. And then it was also got 2 other products that have got like NAC in it to open up your liver. It's got amino acids to help that methylation, to help those pathways open up. So that is a 30-day, do it with food, bump it up with product. That's a really, really good detox, especially spring and fall. We need to be doing this. Even if you're really stellar, like eating amazing, you should still be doing a bigger, deeper liver detoxification twice a year. Like our world is so dirty. We just really have no idea how dirty it is. Then plus there's your genetic SNP issues. We're hearing more and more about these things, right? That's another thing that I can walk you through. That is a mini introduction to working with me. I have a package called Know Your Code. So that package comes with a saliva DNA test. That test is going to test like hundreds of SNPs. A lot of times, if we do just blood, or we're looking for that MTHFR, that's great. That's like the buzzword. That's what everybody's talking about. But there's so much more to it than that. We want the big picture. And I've tried a couple of other different tests for that, like the one that Brecca uses from MaxGen. It's a great test, but it doesn't really give you the answers. Like, it doesn't really tell you exactly what supplements to use. It will tell you things like your eating window, or, if you're genetically your predisposition to really flourish on a carbohydrate diet or a protein diet, or what kind of exercise is best for you. So it has a lot of really cool information, but it still leaves you wondering, okay, now what? Like, now what? So I have really am leaning into this Designs for Health test. Now, I'm gonna just say it's been a work in progress, and I really think there are three-letter agencies involved in flubbing these things up for these little lab companies, right? Because one, it's super affordable. It used to be that there was like major gatekeeping with these genetic tests. Either the medical community was gonna send you to Mayo Clinic, or you had to pay huge dollars to like the big time functional health people before you could get these tests done. And now, I mean, the competition is out there, supply and demand, and there are so many different companies offering this. What I love about Designs for Health is they break it down into 8 different body systems, and each one kind of rearranges the gene snips to tell you exactly through their product line how we're going to optimize your function. So it gives us all this genetic information, plus it tells us the exact products that we need. And if you don't want to use Designs for Health products for some reason, that's fine. You still can at least look at the exact ingredients and go back to your favorite supplement company and find something that matches. So that is a beautiful way of beginning a program, of deciding if you want to go deeper into working with me or with another coach. So again, you're going to go to my website, go under challenges, and pick Know the Code. That will, one, it's like super, super stupid affordable. You're going to get the test. Once you get the test and actually swab your cheek and send it in the mail, you're going to have to notify me. And when you notify me, that is going to set in action what you need to be doing while you're waiting for that test. While you're waiting for the test, you're going to start working on your healing process. And then when the test results come in, you and I are going to sit down one on one and go over your assessment. So, like, you're going to tell me all about yourself before I see the results of the test. And then once we get the results, we're going to put those together and find a jump off place for you in your healing journey and see like how much more intensive work or possible testing or even coming in into a package where I combine bioenergetic testing as well as functional testing, one-on-one coaching appointments where we really do some intensive hand holding. So most people who keep going around the mountain trying to do these things themselves, like buying random supplements off of every social media posts they see, and somebody's talking about this and you think you have those symptoms, so you buy that supplement, and then you don't get to the bottom of the bottle before you see another um, commercial or another post that you're like, oh, that's it, that's what I need. So we keep randomly buying these things and not really following through or not really having a method of putting them all together. So that's what I do. That's why you need me, is to help you sort these things out. Our health journey is like a jawbreaker. So, like, a lot of times we just lick the outside edges, right? But we never get to the middle. Or sometimes people try to bite it and get to the middle and just literally fall apart. So, my bioenergetic testing helps us work at your body's preference, at your body's preferred rate. So, that I honestly don't know of another practitioner like myself who pairs all these things together. As a nurse, I bridge my medical knowledge, and sometimes we even outsource a medication for a period of time when needed. Like, I'm not against that. When we are in control of our health, when we're in the driver's seat, sometimes we need a medication to get us over the hump or to the next step. And that's all right. Like, that's all right, as long as we are in control, as long as we are in the driver's seat and we're not just covering up symptoms with medications. Even in the root cause approach, when we know what we're doing, we can benefit from a pharmaceutical every now and then, right? What else? So as an RN, I have that bridge. With my functional medicine background, I've got professional grade supplements. I've got functional testing. I can pull blood. So we take your blood values and we plug them in and look at them from a functional side, whether it's hormones, whether it's detoxification. We're still always focusing on the root cause. We want to know why. But sometimes when you're really feeling crappy, we have to kind of mitigate the symptoms so we can get you some wins, we can get you some energy before we go in to that deep root cause work. If we go into that deep root cause work when we have no mitochondrial energy, that's hard on a person. A person really suffers. Most of my clients, most of the people that I speak to, they are busy. They are professionals. They're out there working and they've got big plans. They've got big dreams. They've got big goals. But their fatigue is starting to really interrupt things. Their fatigue is starting to bog them down where they're barely getting through that workday, let alone having energy at the end of the day to keep their house clean or enjoy their family or get a little walk in. So people are they're just overstimulated. Then if you're on social media, if you're in that health space, if you're listening to what everybody says, whether it's Barbara O'Neill or those um other big I don't know, social media celebrities, you're just overwhelmed and you keep trying this and you keep trying that, but you're not consistent. One of the big things I stress to people all the time is step 1. We have to find out what step 1 is. Then we add step 2 and then we add step 3, but we always take step 1 with us. Step 1 has to be our foundational habits, the things that we're not wavering on, or the rest falls apart. So we work together to build that sustainable foundation so you can always be in control of your life. You can always be in control of your health. All right, I better take a breath and look for comments, questions. Who's out there with some questions, with some comments? All right, Instagram is quiet. That's where usually the comments are coming from. Facebook, quiet. YouTube, I cannot see. So I am just going to kind of finish what I had to say. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see. So YouTube, or I mean, Instagram, you're not going to be able to see this. I'm going to see if I can make it work. If you follow me, you have probably seen my black salve story. I'm gonna see if I can screen share um, to show you some pictures. I tried this, but like I didn't really practice it. So I'll see if I can make it work. No, well, maybe. Mm, I think I'm gonna have better luck just sharing my whole screen without. I should have practiced this, but there's no time to practice this video stuff, right? You just jump in and do it. That's how I do it anyway. I just jump in and wing it. Okay, so my black salve story. I think if I do this entire screen. All right, work with me. This might look kind of jumbled up for a second. All right, so yep, there's my screen. I'm gonna minimize and see. So now I can't see what you guys see, so hopefully this works. I just quick made a little like a reel thing with my pictures in it, and they're out of order. So like I literally did this 2 minutes before I went on. But in all of my detoxing that I've been doing, I mean, like it's been years of detox, and this health journey because I felt really shitty. I had fibromyalgia, I had IBS, and now just lately, and I'll tell you more about that. I've got some ordered, and I don't want to talk about it too much until I get the new ones. But my friend Spencer from Florida, if you follow him on social media, he has made like an updated version of that Electrobox. They're 3D printed, and it's this box that you put your thumbs on, and it puts electricity, which cleans your body of bacteria, of parasites, and oxygenates your blood. So I've been doing that, I don't know, probably since October or so. It's been a while, and I really am good about doing that at least 10 minutes a day when I'm on my vibe plate. And then in the evening, when we're watching whatever we're watching, my husband and I take turns like per episode on this box. So I'm using it quite a bit. And I do think it's all this detox that brought this rogue cells, especially because of the energy currents, like to the top of my head. So I had these sores that wouldn't heal. That's what you're seeing on the screen. Actually, that's like after they came out. So I decided I was just going to put some black salve on them. Let me hit play here and I'll walk you through it. Oh, there's even music. I didn't know, I didn't mean for that to happen. So that's now. That's how it looks now. February was when I started. Um, Let me pause it for a second. So I first put the black salve on in February. Let me just see if I can find that. So this picture is the black salve on there. You only apply that just the once and you leave it. I had 2 spots, so I didn't want to put a ton of pictures. They pretty much all looked the same as I was going through it. So that after it's been on, this was like the next day, it kind of looks like a big scab in a sense, and it felt like it was sticking up, and it hurts. Like for 3 days, I cried around and whined, and it just felt like I had a ponytail that was way too tight, and it burned and tingled. So for 3 days, that was about it. But it wasn't fun. Like those 3 days were not fun. So that's what it looked like when the salve was just kind of starting to do its thing. Then if it's rogue cells, it starts to dig in and it won't like normal skin, it kind of roughs up the layer. So kind of looks like you got a little road rash, but it doesn't go any deeper. This is after the chunk came out. Let me find that's the chunk. That's the chunk that came out. And even now, it's still a little divot, like, it still feels like a little hole. The one does. The other one, I can't really hardly even find, so it's pretty flat, but the bigger one that was right at the crown, right at the top of my head, right where that energy flows. So my thinking is that energy pushed these rogue cells out, and that's as far as they could get out of my body. So wherever it started, I think my lymph system, that garbage truck in your body pushed it out through those and the sweat glands, in your head. And that's the top. That's where the energy goes. So that's the chunk that came out. Um, that's the hole. That's the hole that it left. So it was a pretty significant hole. Like, um, definitely a significant hole. And then that is into the process a ways. I think that was last month. That's the hole again. That's now. So people have been wondering if I think hair will grow back. So you can see how it's getting smaller and there's new hairs here. There's new hairs in the center. So I definitely think the hair will grow back. If it doesn't, I wasn't too worried about it. I'd rather have a bald spot than cancer. So, and if I was to have this surgically removed, like that scar would be significant. This black salve is so kind and your body just goes to work, the healing process. I didn't get a good picture of the other one, but the other one is really, I can feel the new growth in that other one. I can feel it closing. And I'm getting another little sore over here in the back of my head that we'll see. I might end up treating that. You can kind of see the black salve, but after during the healing process, I just kept tallow on it. I just kept it moist. Let's see. I can't really see that one. Oh, that's just a few weeks. That's like just evidence as the progressive healing as it's laying in new tissue. A lot of people they wonder what's going on, what it looks like in the process. That was the black salve again. Let me just buzz through there. That's the a hole, and even the hole was just fresh healthy tissue. So it has been quite a process. I had tried the salve at different parts of my body and not had a reaction, so I was kind of surprised. I really was when it reacted on my scalp. So there again, that's the other. This is the one that we looked at before. This is the second site. Or I could say the first. It was the first one to let loose, and it wasn't as deep, but there's a lot of new hair in that one. And I have really thick hair. Again, that's the thing that came out. So, all right, there's that. I'll stop sharing. See if I can find my screen again. All right, I'm back. So that was that. That is the update on my Black Salve story. Are looking for black salve, I do offer it on my website, or you can stop in here and get it. So on my website, I think I have that all updated. I had switched over. I'm not doing Shopify anymore, so everything's just on my web server. And I think I have it all situated. If you try to order and it doesn't go through, just call the store. If you're already on the website, our phone number is there. Just call the store if you have any problems at all. That black salve is a little container about this big. It's $75. It'll last forever. If you put it away in the cupboard and go to use it years later, just make sure you use a popsicle stick and stir it up really good, and it'll be fine. You'll be good to go. That also comes in a tablet, and Casey and I have done the tablets. Honestly, I was kind of intimidated by doing the tablets. We did them just for good measure. Like we were not actively aware of any rogue cells or any cancer in our bodies. But where I've been on this parasite journey, I think, I might as well just keep up the progress, right? So that was a long time ago. We did the pills, and we kind of started them on the full moon, but they last for a month. So I was worried that it would burn internally, like it burned on my head, but it didn't. And nothing hurt. So I don't know if there would have been cancer in my colon, if it would have burned and hurt. I don't know. But personally, we can only talk from our own personal experiences. So that's why I'm always messing around with this stuff, because I can post about my experience with these products, with the testing. It's I have clients that are willing to let me share part of their story as well, but the narrative just comes off really differently. It's for me, it's way easier to share from my own perspective. So speaking of my own perspective, a colleague shared with me a food allergy test that she has been using. So in the past, I really like the one that I use. I like that it does 4 different subtypes of IgG. I like that if you get your blood drawn, you can add on like a total IgE and then further investigate if needed. That's really cool. That test comes from a company called Immunolabs. Um, so I do like that. But she introduced me to one. It's a blood draw, so it's not as convenient as a finger poke. I have a kit on the way. So when I get my results, we'll talk about that. Why this is cool in my world is it's testing for IgG, which is like, that 70% of your immune system. It's more of an inflammatory, suspicious, sneaky kind of reaction. You might not connect your symptoms with these food reactions. So it's sneaky. IgGs are sneaky. Inflammatory. Inflammation leads to all disease, like that kind of thing. So that it's going to test for that. but it's also going to test for IgA, which I really like because, like, even the last maybe 4 months ago when I did a stool test on myself, my IgA marker was high, which is the IgA is more about your gut immune system. Like we always say, your immune system is mostly in your gut. So the IgA, mine is elevated, which says, I try not to eat gluten, but I know my body doesn't like gluten, especially because my IgA is high. Um, so this new test is going to go through all these foods and it's going to test IgG and IgA. And for me, that has still been a struggle. Trying to get my gut health optimized has been a struggle. So, missing link for me. I'm really excited about that. And another thing I'm excited about is this test is going to test for actual immune reactions to things like food dyes and different preservatives and different chemicals in our food. So I'm excited, but I'm also scared because, oh my goodness, that is, then if you're going to be proactive, once you get this list, and it's food labels are already hard, or can I be in the mindset of they're easier because I'm going to know exactly what to stay away from? So that might, I mean, we all know already that we should just be not eat food unless you had to chop it or something like that, like um I ask people all the time, how much processed food do you eat? And they'll say, I don't eat processed food. To them, they don't eat processed food because they're not buying Hungry Man dinners. Like our our processed food is anything that has a food label on it has been processed. Anything with a shelf life has been processed. So it's a big deal. I'm excited. I will absolutely share my results. I haven't even gotten the kit. I have no idea how long it will take once the sample arrives at the lab. But I'm very experimental. You all know that about me. Like I'm willing to do some funky things. I like to treat my body as a science project. I have the capability and the privilege, like I have my own blood spinner, so when my clients come in, or if you buy a lab kit from somebody else and you don't want to deal with the lab or somebody getting that drawn, bring it in. I have a $35 draw fee and I'll draw it and spin it and you'll put it out in the mail. So when I get my labs, my this kit for this allergies, I have those nice butterfly with the long little tubes. So like when I go to draw people's blood, like every time you do a new container, it wiggles a little bit and I don't like that. So if I put one of those tails on it, a butterfly, then there's less wiggle, but I can also with one hand draw my own blood. Usually I do it out of the back of my hand, but that makes it super handy. So I can do all these things on my own terms. I like to do things on my own terms. I don't know about you, but that means a lot to me. So those are fun things that are coming at Awaken Wellness. The end of the month, Bonnie and I are going to travel to Boise to Cellcore's annual training. That I'm so excited about that. I usually go by myself. This year I'm taking Bonnie with me. It's just so motivational. The vendors are amazing. So I got to make sure that my credit card is all paid off before I go in case there's some really fun piece of equipment that I want to bring back. But the just keeping up with the industry and what my peers are doing, like what the really amazing functional doctors, what they're seeing in their practice, the up and coming trends. There's usually a lot of talk about how we can help people with vaccine injuries, how we can help people so they're not clotting. So all of these things. Last year there was a lot of troubleshooting for fertility, and it goes back to toxins, the yuck in our water, all those things. So I'm excited. I always say I'm going for my yearly brainwashing, right? So it doesn't matter who we all make our choices. We choose our brainwashing by we choose our programming by what we're listening to, by who we're listening to, right? We choose our poisons by what we breathe, by what we drink, by what we eat. We have choices. We have so much more control over our health, our mental health, our physical health than we realize, especially when we start living out a detox lifestyle. Like our mental health changes, your anxiety levels will change. You have say in all of that. You can take back control of all of that. So, again, I'm gonna invite you, if you are ready to take back control of your health, of your family's health, or if you're ready to make some changes, you're lost, you're confused, you're tired of doing it alone, get a hold of us at Awaken Wellness. Get a hold of me. So I do have openings for new clients at this time. It might not always be that way, but I do. And in the works, I have got I'll be launching, you'll be seeing me post about it. I'll be launching um this know your code offer, which is going to be a introductory to if you are ready for the next step, if you're ready for that next level of commitment. That know your code offer, if you are already on my email list, you got a special invitation to save an extra 50 bucks on that test. So dig through your email, go find it in your junk if you are ready to do that genetic profile so you have the nuts and bolts of what your body needs to detox, to create energy, and to enhance your longevity. Know your code, get that test. It's just priceless information. You can benefit, women can benefit, children of, pretty much any age, but I would really wait until they're 3 or older to really get into all that. But kids who have a history of tongue tie, lip ties, those big red birthmarks, that the big vein on the forehead, those are all things that are really tied into those genetic mutations, those MTHFRs and other things, hormone imbalance. I think anybody who's got autoimmune disease, history of cancer, um, chronic disease in general should do this test, should know what your foundation is, know how to support your specific gene pool. Invaluable, invaluable information. So check your email. If you're not already on my email list, if you didn't get that invitation for that extra $50, sorry, like you missed it. But this is a test group, so right now everybody's getting a really stellar low introductory rate on this because it's for me, it's a test group. In the future, in order to serve more people, I'll be doing hybrid group coaching. And this Know Your Code, this mini course, is an opener to that to see if you're a good fit or if you need to go on or if your genetics are looking pretty good and you can just choose a couple of foundational supplements and see how you feel. So there's that. You're going to go to my website, go under challenges and click that know the code and get going. Just do it. If you're ready for that detox, I'm going to fix that link as soon as I get off here. That'll be under challenges and you can do that 30-day detox. That as well is a great introductory. I always say if you're going to work with me as a coach or somebody else as a coach, I personally am not a hand holding kind of coach. I'm going to force you to be accountable because in the end, nobody can do this for you. It's about behavior modification. I'll give you the information. I'll give you all the keys to it, but you will have to implement it. You will have to do the hard work. And frankly, I'm not going to treat you like a kindergartner. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to chase you. If you buy a big package and you don't show up in your education vault and do the steps, then I can't force you to, right? So everybody pays the same amount, just like college. Everybody pays the same for their education. Some people graduate on the dean's list. Some people, get out of there by the skin of their teeth. It's the same. You get out of it what you put into it. And it's the dean's list people who change their lives, right? Those underachievers who barely get their diploma, they're not changing anything. So you have to decide what kind of student you're ready to be, right? I'm me regardless. And I refuse. I will not chase you. I will not chase you down. I will not ask you 3 days before if your homework's done. No, like you've got to step it up. You've got to be ready to get in the game. And then in the end, when you get your health back, when your medical diagnosis goes away, when you no longer have autoimmune disease or you no longer have diabetes, you get all the credit. Like you get all the credit for taking back control of your health. And like I don't care what your grandma had wrong with her. That doesn't mean that you have to own that, right? It's your lifestyle. We want to know that genetic code, but you need to know that cannot be your use because only as much of those genes can be manipulated by your lifestyle. So you need to know that your genetics load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. And even these things that are not optimal can be fixed when we remove the toxins and the parasites and the junk from the body and support with nutrition what the body needs to sustain life. Miracles will happen. I don't care who you are. All right, all you ambitious professionals that are ready to take back control of your health, here is your call to action. Number 1, follow on social media. We would truly appreciate your likes and your shares. Next, go to awakenwellnessllc.com and get your discovery call scheduled. If you're on the website and you drop under information, you can see our package and service options. If you're local, stop in the store and say, hey. If you'll be working with us online, get that discovery call booked. Let's talk soon.